The PlayStation 4 has officially launched. I've played the games, and now I'm here to tell you which ones are the best. What is going on, guys and girls? It is Ghost Robo, and these are my top 5 PS4 launch games. I've played over a dozen PlayStation 4 titles and spent hours and hours with the system controller and games, and I'm here to tell you which ones I think are the best. Now, of course, this is my opinion, so it might not match up with reviewers. It might not match up with anybody else except me, and that's okay because I'm the one making the video. So, without further ado, here we go. My honorable mention goes to Knack, which I think is a lot better than people are really giving it credit for. Now, nonetheless, it's still kind of a one-trick action brawler type game on a very linear path, but it's very charming. I think the story is kind of intriguing, and it's super tough. I've died more times in Knack than Killzone, which I never would have predicted. And for someone who enjoys more whimsical, joy-filled, colorful games, I kind of get a decent amount of enjoyment out of it. I don't necessarily think it's for everybody. I don't even necessarily think it's for most kids because it is really tough. You die very easily, but Knack is still a pretty cool game. Now, onto the real list, here we go. At number 5 is Battlefield 4. The game has had a lot of problems at launch with server connectivity issues. Joining matches, I still can't get into Conquest properly. There's been crashes, there have been corrupt save files. It's kind of a mess, but the underlying game is a beautiful one and very, very visceral. I give it a lot of points for not only shining through as a stellar graphical example on the PlayStation 4, but also delivering a very, very intense first-person shooter military experience. I think Battlefield 4 edges out Call of Duty Ghosts this year for the first time in maybe ever, at least in my books, and both the single-player and multiplayer are pretty cool. Multiplayer definitely takes the cake as the better half of the game, and as you can see, it is so pretty. All of the debris and explosion and destruction effects are in tip-top shape here on PlayStation 4, and it looks light years better than anything the Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 could possibly produce. Now, there are much bigger maps and bigger matches here in Next Gen as compared to those past gen consoles, and the single player in Battlefield 4 isn't too bad. Is it revolutionary? No. Is it great? No. Is it solid and serviceable? Absolutely. Once all of these online issues are worked out, I think Battlefield 4 will cement itself as one of the premier shooters in the early days of PlayStation 4. Next up at number 4, we have Need for Speed Rivals. This game kind of came out of nowhere and really shocked me. It's quite possibly the prettiest PlayStation 4 launch title, and if you're a big racing fan, I could easily see this taking your top spot. The game combines the best parts of the recent Burnout and Need for Speed games and mixes them into one really, really awesome package. You have a huge map with plenty of freedom. There's coastal seasides, you've got rainy forests, and you have huge open stretches of highway to gun your cars as fast as humanly possible. There is no better feeling than roaring through the streets at 160 miles an hour in a Lamborghini cop car, smashing into some crazy racer trying to get away in perfect 1080p. It's just unreal. Now, they bring back the cops versus racers mentality from Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, which was probably my favorite entry in the Need for Speed series last generation, and I think it serves the game very well. I love the balance between being an attacking cop and an escaping racer, and the game does a nice job of letting you choose who you want to be and what exactly you want to do. At each step of the way, you have these small checklists that give you a direction and a guide to control your huge experience. It does feel very open nonetheless, and you can basically do just about anything. Although I do like the fact that they have these checklists to provide some context for my wild adventures around this beautiful world. At any given time, there are about a bajillion things to do as events pop up all over the map. You can start those at any point in time, no matter where you are or what you are doing. And there's also some random events that will pop up as you go. Maybe some fellow police cars are chasing after a crazy racer and you want to join in on the fun. Speaking of joining in, the online is really cool here. If you're someone who has a lot of friends with a PS4, you can have them all kind of enter your game at the same time and race against them, compete against them, maybe even crash against them if that is what you so choose. Compare all your stats and figures from speed walls to specific times in races to overall point titles. It's pretty great in terms of online integration. If you're like me and would rather go against the computer, that's perfectly fine as well. You can shut all that down and just play against the AI, which I think is pretty fun. Need for Speed Rivals is a great showpiece for the PlayStation 4 because not only does it deliver really awesome visuals at a standstill, it enhances everything once you're moving at such a quick pace, and I think that really sells the whole next-gen experience. My number 3 game of the PlayStation 4 launch takes things to the digital side, going with Resogun from Housemarque, the people who did Super Stardust HD. I really liked that game, but I preferred something more along the lines of Geometry Wars, and I feel like Resogun slides itself in that direction. It may seem simple at first, but trust me, this game builds and builds and builds very, very quickly and becomes one of the most addictive experiences that the PlayStation 4 has to offer. It smartly structures itself in such a way that you're always wanting to try one more time, to build that multiplier just a little bit harder, to save just one more human in order to achieve the highest score possible. The game's difficulty ramps up pretty darn fast, but that is a good thing because it encourages you to play again and again, adding a lot of replayability to an otherwise kind of simple game. And while it may be simple in controls, there definitely is a lot going on visually. The exploding ships, the blowing away of every single pixel, voxel, whatever it's called, looks darn awesome. And the 3D cityscapes in the background have this strange sci-fi Bioshock thing going on that I really dig. The game may be short in terms of number of levels, but I definitely would pay $15 or $20 for this game because of its replayability and addictive nature. I constantly want to go back and see if I can string together the perfect run. Luckily, everybody who gets a PlayStation 4 will have access to this game for free because each PS4 comes with 30 free days of PlayStation Plus, and Resogun is free to all PlayStation Plus subscribers. So hey, you're getting a freebie, and it is a darn awesome one. Taking hold at number 2 is Killzone Shadowfall. Why all the negative hype? I've heard nothing but bad things about this game before I got my own hands on it, and let me tell you, it's a lot better than people say. Sure, it doesn't revolutionize the first-person shooter genre, but it's a heck of a lot cooler and different than most of the military campaigns we're used to seeing, especially those that have been released this year. The game takes a more open approach to past Killzone levels, and sometimes you do get lost, but whereas a lot of people find that to be a negative, I really enjoy it. I would rather be turned around and a bit confused, exploring and finding my way through the beautiful environments, rather than be led by some dumb soldier with an arrow above his head through simple corridors. Just like Battlefield 4, I think it utilizes the controller really, really great and takes advantage of the improved sticks and triggers to deliver a shining example of why the DualShock 4 just may be the best controller on the market. It also utilizes that brand new touchpad in a pretty cool way, allowing you to take control of a companion drone who will do everything from help you zipline from top to bottom to take down enemies and distract them from your presence. Now, it does get kind of heavy-handed and dives into this very emotional and kind of overwrought political story and struggle, but I never came to Killzone for an epic story, and I think most of you probably know that going in. This isn't Bioshock Infinite, this isn't The Last of Us, it's not going to deliver a plot that blows you away, but what it will deliver is a visual ensemble that does blow me away, and definitely sets the bar very high for futuristic shooters coming out later. I'm a sucker for that futuristic fun, those neon lights, those bright colors, and here everything is in full effect. Yes, the campaign is pretty standard, but the more open levels and the gorgeous visual landscapes create another showpiece title for your PlayStation 4. Just like Battlefield 4, the multiplayer might be the better half of the game, yet again, their Warzone mode is not really like anything else on the market, combining a bunch of different match types into one chunky game. Here we have Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, Search and Destroy, all wrapped into one bundle called Warzone, seamlessly transitioning every 5 minutes to a new game type. What I really like about this is that it encourages players to try out a bunch of different game modes without being slotted into a very specific playlist and feeling chained to it. All in all, I'm having a lot of fun with Killzone Shadowfall. It looks, sounds, and plays great, and while there isn't a huge variety in the number of guns within the game, the ones that are there are just fine for me. This game doesn't drastically alter the first-person shooter formula, but as long as you know that going in, I think Killzone Shadowfall is definitely one to pick up. Now, many of you are probably wondering, what could my top game be? What is my favorite #1 title of the PlayStation 4 launch? And frankly, this surprised me as well. But when I sat down, thought about it, played them all again, made sure, backtracked, forward-tracked, and really made clear which game was my favorite, it was always this one. Coming in at #1 is NBA 2K14. Now, this game is definitely geared towards a specific audience, and those are the sports fans. But I will say that I think the leap from NBA 2K14 on last gen to NBA 2K14 on PlayStation 4 is sizable, substantial, and delivers the most lifelike sports title I have ever played or experienced. The game itself is probably the most mechanically sound of all the PlayStation 4 launch titles, and while it does have the advantage of expanding upon an already great NBA 2K14 on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, that doesn't take away from the fact that this is probably my favorite sports game of all time. It plays great at every turn, the controls feel perfect on the DualShock 4, I can do just about anything I want on the court, the animations are so dang good, each player looks freaking fantastic, this just might be the most true-to-life video game on the market. Now, I fully understand that this isn't everyone's cup of tea, but if you are at all a basketball fan, if you have any interest in sports games, this one knocks it out of the park. It's a huge step up graphically from its younger Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 cousins, and it adds a handful of new modes along the way. Sure, it's just a basketball game, but that does not take away from the fact that this is the most robust and best overall game on the PlayStation 4 at launch. If you're looking for the true trophy winner, you have to pick up NBA 2K14 on PS4. Guys and girls, that is going to do it. Those are my 5 favorite PlayStation 4 games here at launch, and I think the 5 best. I played this thing for hours and hours, and I've been enjoying the heck out of it. I hope you guys enjoyed the heck out of this video. If you did, smash that like button, add your favorites. Let me know in the comments below which games you think look the best and what you think of my list itself. I'm curious to know your thoughts and opinions. Also, if you want to see me do this with the Xbox One launch lineup, just hit that like button, and I'll bring it to you in just a few short days. I've been loving the PS4 so far. Can't wait to see what the Xbox One has to offer. But until that time, guys and girls, have a fantastic day. Drink some hot chocolate. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you all later.